Hi and welcome to Lama. In this video, I'm going to show you some advanced functions in Lama Mix. We will have a look at MIDI, advanced monitoring options, presets, the speech mixer, layer view, and wrap it up with a few essential tips that you'll want to use every day. If you're a beginner to Lama Mix, we recommend you to watch the first video that covers the basic functions. You will find the link in the description of this video. So let's get started with MIDI. If you're using a Mackie Control Protocol compatible surface, Lama Mix supports it natively, but you'll need to enable it first. To do that, you need to go first of all to Settings, MIDI Device Settings, and activate it. Here I have an Icon V1M and a pad called Easy Pad. I activate the inputs and outputs. Then you will need to go to Settings, MIDI Control, and assign your MIDI device to Mackie MCU line. If you want to have more than one controller, it is possible, but you just need to activate it before and then add it here. I will do that to add the pad, as it will be useful later on. Once it's active, your faders, mute buttons, solos, and pan controls will sync automatically. You will not need manual mapping if it is a Mackie Control Protocol friendly device. It's plug and play for most standard Mackie surfaces, which makes it ideal for fast setups and live situations. For other types of MIDI controllers, Lama Mix offers the MIDI Learn function. I will here put my Easy Pad. Just right-click on any control, a fader, mute button, pan knob, or even a preset trigger, and select MIDI Learn. Then move the corresponding control on your device, and it's instantly mapped. I try here with my Easy Pad to activate the mute button from the first channel. You can see that it works. This gives you complete flexibility to build a control surface that matches your workflow. Emulating a MIDI controller with software like Touch OS or BitFocus Companion is also possible. We will show this in another video. You can even combine both approaches, using Mackie for hands-on fader control and MIDI Learn for quick access to functions like preset recall, monitor switching, or layer toggling. I will show you this later in the video with a Mackie Control Protocol surface and a pad for recalling presets. Moving on to the monitor section and monitor groups. The monitor section in Lama Mix offers detailed loudness metering in dB LUFS that helps you stay compliant with loudness targets like EBU R128, which is -23 dB. You have classic momentary, short-term, and integrated loudness. You can pause here and reset the loudness meter here. Additionally, you get up to 8 monitor groups. Each group has its own input, mute, stereo configuration, and output routing. You can assign up to 8 input favorites per monitor group, and with 8 monitor groups available, that means you can pre-configure up to 64 different bus inputs for monitoring. By switching between monitor groups and cycling through the input favorites, you have extremely flexible access to a wide range of monitoring sources, all without changing your mix setup. In this example, I have one bus for the English mix, one for the Dutch mix, and one for the French mix. You will need to select the bus as an input favorite here. I do it for the 4 buses, and then I can now switch between my 3 mixes and 4 with the ambience only. You can choose the monitor group to listen to the PFL or AFL, and you can also select different outputs here. You could, like this, have all your mixes on different speakers if you like, which means you could listen to up to 8 different speakers. And when needed, you can enable a global mode, which works like a 9th monitoring layer. In this mode, the input favorite you select and save is sent to any of the monitor groups you choose. Each monitor group can have its own output, and if they do, this lets you quickly test different recording paths, speaker systems, or sends, simply by switching groups. It's a great tool for rehearsals, quality control, or fast A/B checks. If you would also like to configure all your monitor groups in the same place, you can do that here or hit Ctrl+I. Follow Layer Master enables you to follow and listen to the output of a channel selected as master on the channel view. It is also possible to MIDI learn the switch in between monitor groups and also the input favorites switch. Here I switch between my 4 mixes by pressing the pad. 5 kilometers to the summit, the gap is down to 35 seconds. Rivera is pushing hard.
5 km du sommet, les cas.
Nederlandse berg vandaag. Bezig aan zijn tweede.
Riviera.
Now let's move on to the presets. The presets are one of the most powerful time-saving tools in Lama Mix. You can access them here or hit Ctrl+T. Presets let you save the entire configuration of your session, everything from routing, plug-in chains to panning and fader positions. You can see here I have a session with multiple channels and buses. We're imitating a session of a classic sports broadcast with multiple languages. Let's say for an example that we want to mute all the commentators for all the languages in one press. I will first create a base preset to save the state of my mixer with the commentators open. After I create it and name it, I do Save Config, and then Save to Selected. I create a preset with the commentators not muted, so I select only the mute and the commentators. There it is, the breakaway is caught. With 3.7 kilometers to the top, Rivera and Novak still lead, but here comes Von Aert. A brutal acceleration. Nobody can follow right away. Von Aert is pulling clear, he's got 10, Save
15,
config then to save the selected. What a move. I will now mute all the commentators.
Absolutely crazy. Behind Novak is dropping back.
Then I will create my preset. Select the channels I want to be saved in the preset. Here the commentators only. Then the settings. Here the mute. Then save config. Then save to selected. Now I can switch between these two presets by loading them with the button Load. You probably need to recall those presets really fast and not have to go back to the presets window during a live broadcast. You can assign these presets to MIDI controllers. Then you can use a button press to recall a specific configuration during a show or switch between multiple setups mid-production. This is ideal if you're running multiple shows, switching projects quickly, or simply want a fast reset to your known setup. You would just need to select the preset and click MIDI Learn. Lama Mix is now waiting for a MIDI note from the controller you effect in MIDI Control on the MIDI Learn line. Press the buttons you want to use, and now your button will trigger the preset. Moving on to the speech mixer. The speech mixer is built for live speech prioritization and is perfect for panel discussions, commentary, or interview setups. You start by creating a speech mixer by going here or hitting Ctrl+H, then adding every channel you want in the speech mixer on the input section. Then designate one as the host. This is the voice that will take priority. Up to 16 channels of audio can be routed to a single speech mixer. When the host speaks, other channels are automatically reduced, so they're never fighting for a space in the mix. Dialogue target is the level you want the output of the speech mixer to be. You need to adjust the input knob to match the number of channels you would like in the speech mixer. You can set how much other voices get reduced with the speech reduction value. Use speech weight to fine-tune the trigger sensitivity and control how quickly the mix reacts with dialogue level speed. This lets you keep the primary speaker up front without manually riding faders, and with multiple guests you'll get a smoother, cleaner mix overall. One small but powerful feature is Mute on Fader Open. By right-clicking to ascend on one channel, you can select Mute on Fader Open. It means that every time that you open the fader, the sends will break and be back only when you close the fader. For example, let's say that the English commentators need to be sent on a cue line during the break to speak with the director. I will create the sends to the aux, which is the cue line, and then right-click on the send and click on Mute on Fader Open. In this way, every time he needs to speak, I will cut the fader, and the director will be able to hear him on the cue line. Let's move on to the layer view. The layer view is a way to organize your session by context or content type. Each of the 8 layers can have its own set of visible tracks. You can switch layers quickly, and if your monitor groups are set to follow the master layer, your monitoring follows the structure too. You can also MIDI learn the layers to have a fast switch in between your different layers. I will do it here to switch between my layer 2 and 3, with 2 being the different commentators and 3 for all of my auxes and buses. I will first create the layer by clicking here to include different channels in this layer. Then I will create the other layer. You can also select the master here for the Follow Layer Master option. Then after my layers are ready, I right-click here to MIDI learn it. Now I can switch really easily in between these 2 layers by pushing the buttons I selected. Finally, here are a couple of quick tips to make your workflow faster. Firstly, if you need to snap a fader back to 0 dB, just hold Ctrl and click the fader. As you can see, it jumps straight back to 0 dB. You can also type on the number to type the value you want the fader to be. Secondly, you can put colors on your channel to help to identify them quickly. You need to click here and then select the colors you want. Thank you for your time. I hope this video was useful for you, and I wish you happy audio producing.